Nintendo held a surprise direct this week, giving updates on games like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Pokemon Legends Z and A, along with revolutionizing the digital gaming landscape. But you know what this direct was missing? The Switch 2. Also, voice acting, right? I can kind of forgive the Switch 2 because we got the big Nintendo Switch 2 direct coming up here in the next couple weeks, but I don't understand how Nintendo just ignores voice acting. It is 2025. How do first-party games on the Nintendo platform not have voice acting, right? Switch 2 is coming out. This direct, that's next week. We're going to be doing a live stream for it. We're going to be talking about it. I hope that the big announcement of the Switch 2 is yes, we can do 4K, but more importantly, every Nintendo game moving forward will have voice acting. No more text boxes. It's 2025. Let's pay voice actors to make our games that much better. Good. My wife was here. She'd be like, "Oh, it's because you don't know how to read." No, I know how to read. I just like being read too. But anyway, during this week's Nintendo Direct, Nintendo showed off 28 brand new games, and there was a lot of variety here, something for everybody. The biggest, in my opinion, was obviously the Metroid 4 Beyond reveal, a game that looks super dope, a game that we have been waiting on for a very, very long time, and a game that also has voice acting, right? There was a moment in this where we saw a cutscene, and there was voice acting, and I was like, what? Voice acting? In a Nintendo game? I apologize, sir. I was not familiar with your work. That's right. This week, Nintendo showed off brand new gameplay footage from Metroid Prime 4, a game that was originally announced in 2017 and said to itself, hold up. I am not going to miss out on the OG Switch generation. I will be the last game to launch on the console. And essentially, this is a first-person shooter game where Samus finds themselves on a tropical planet called Vuros. And in order to survive and escape Vuros, Samus must scan stone statues. Yeah, no, we're not making this up. I'm literally just reading off the transcript from the direct here. Now, to be fair, the trailer also showed us a little bit of run and gun gameplay, right? We got to see Samus turn into a ball. The gameplay does look very like Halo. It looks very like Doom, where you're just running and gunning and spraying and praying. Samus will also have psychic abilities now that'll allow you to move objects, open doors, and essentially control things with your mind. And Metroid Prime 4 looks super interesting, right? And I don't want to upset the Breath of the Wild fans out here, but it does look like it could be the best looking Switch game of all time. Maybe the best Nintendo Switch game of this generation. And I can already hear the comments coming from the Zelda fans of being Metroid Prime 4 looks like trash. But look, this is a very good looking Nintendo Switch game. And it does get me excited for the Switch 2 generation that maybe the games will start to look better. And then I saw a comment, right? I was watching this trailer back. I saw a little comment over on YouTube that said, hold up, how do we know that this is running on the Nintendo Switch? How do we know that this is OG Switch graphics? Maybe Metroid Prime 4, the trailer, maybe it's running on the Switch too. Likely. Very likely. Because this whole generation, I don't think I have ever seen a game that looks as smooth, that looks as good as Metroid Prime 4 does running on a Switch. And this could be next-gen graphics that we're seeing here. This could be Nintendo 2. That's speculation, right? Don't take my word for it. Don't go off on the interwebs. Don't go off on TikTok and YouTube Shorts and being oh my god, I just saw the Nintendo Switch 2 gameplay. Not true. Now, just my opinion here. Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a Switch 2 launch title. During the end of the trailer, it was coming 2025. Somehow 7 years into development, and they still don't have an actual release window. They just have a year. But we also had games that were holiday 2025. So I think if you take that and look at coming 2025, this is going to come before the holiday season. And I think that this would be a great game to launch with the Nintendo Switch 2. And I'm very, very intrigued by that. So one of the other games that Nintendo showed off was Pokemon Legends Z and A. And Nintendo gave it some time to shine during the Direct. The Pokemon present that happened left a lot of questions. And I think a lot of frustration among the internet gaming community. And I got to say, after watching this, man, they are really proud of Lumio City. Again, I don't want to be a hater. I don't want to be someone that's just talking negative about it. But you look at the buildings in the game, and there's no depth. They all look flat. There's no reflections in the windows. There's no light bursts. There's all the windows look exactly the same across all the buildings. And it's just one of those, again, that I'm it's 2025. And I want to be clear. This is not the fact that it's it needs to be realistic graphics, and Pokemon games don't have to look beautiful, right? We can at least make Pokemon look like a game that released in 2025. Pokemon Snap, beautiful, right? The characters in that game, the Pokemon in that character looked great. The environments looked beautiful. And then you take like the lush jungles of Pokemon Snap, and then you take these wild zones, and you're just like, cool. Glad we're going back in time right now. But yeah, during the Direct, we also got an extended look at the wild zones where wild Pokemon will live here. This is where you will train, you will catch, and you will get attacked by Pokemon if you're not careful. But then Pokemon and Nintendo kind of surprised me. They announced something that was called ZA Royale. Yeah, once the sun drops and nighttime comes along, ZA Royale happens. 100 trainers drop into the battlefield. You must capture a Pokemon, train it, level it up, search, build, and become the best Pokemon trainer alive. Survive the other 99 players to become the winner chicken dinner. Nope, that is not what that mode is. That would be a dope mode. If Pokemon did want to do like a battle royale, I think that a lot of people would be in for that, right? Drop into the battlefield, catch your first Pokemon, level them up, start getting some berries, get them angry, like get your Pokemon going, go into battle, right? Become the last trainer standing. That would be cool. Yeah, there's been quite a few people that have been talking about this, that like essentially the ZA Royale is kind of what you're going to be doing through the story. There's no rivals, there's nothing like a Elite Four, there's not like collecting badges, you're just working your way up through the ZA tier list, and you get your wish granted at the end. It's cool, right? I don't want to upset anybody who are like, that sounds like a fun Pokemon experience. Personally, I would much rather a Pokemon Battle Royale game, but like, hey, mazel tov to them. I hope you enjoy this game. Pokemon Legends NA is scheduled to launch in late 2025. And then Nintendo like really surprised me because they announced a brand new digital share feature for Nintendo Switch owners. And I think this is incredible, right? Nintendo has done a very good job of like coming out and creating a feature that personally, after seeing it, I'm like, man, why don't other platforms have this? This is something that every platform should be embracing. And essentially, they are now giving every Switch owner the ability to live out the dreams of being a 2000s blockbuster owner. And I think that's should be applauded here. Essentially, virtual game cards will now allow you to loan out digital games to family members or friends for up to 14 days. And once the time runs out, the game then returns to your library. And look, this is just my assumption here because we don't have a ton of details, but it's sounding a whole lot like when you loan a game out, you can't play it yourself, which again is not a deal breaker. I don't think that that's really what this is designed to be, where you're just sharing games. And when we're talking about the Nintendo virtual game cards, I do think it's important to note here, Nintendo did say an internet connection is required to install, load, and also inject the game from your platform, which, if you'll excuse me for a second. Hello. Today, I will be auditioning for the role of outraged internet gamer. It requires an internet connection? How dare Nintendo! I am going to write a super nasty tweet, hire a bunch of nasty bots, and then I'm going to review bomb this video to make it the most review bombed video of all time. And I'm going to do all of this using an internet connection because I hate internet connections because it is 2025 and irony is dead! Ha 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 ha! And scene. Now, Nintendo's digital game lending will begin to roll out with the brand new system update that will be coming to the platform in late April. Plus, Nintendo did say this will work for loading games between the OG Switch and the Switch 2 console, which I kind of think is like, hey, this is how we're going to address digital backwards compatibility. I hope that you can just download the games you've already bought through the store, but if this is how we have to do it, whatever, like cool, we can at least do that. Having to do it every 14 days might suck, but we'll take our wins for when we can, especially when it's a company like Nintendo. The next announcement really shocked me, right? This was a big announcement for Nintendo, and I gotta say, I'm really hyped about this. High on Life is coming to the Nintendo Switch. And if you haven't played this game is such a gem. Let's pull up the trailer real quick. Squanch Games did such a great job with this game. I highly recommend that everyone who's like 18 and older gets the opportunity to play this game. The gameplay, fantastic. The visuals are awesome. And the writing in this game is some of the most comedic and funny writing that I think we've ever gotten in a video game. And I was laughing, smiling, and enjoying the game the entire time. I played this on Xbox. Now that it's coming to the Nintendo Switch, I've got a couple trips where I'm going to be flying quite a bit. Probably going to pick it up on the Switch so I can play it while I'm flying, because High on Life is a great game. And High on Life will be available for the Nintendo Switch 2 starting May 6th. And then the last game that really intrigued me here was Marvel Cosmic Invasion. And I say intrigued because this was like a nostalgia bomb for me, right? Essentially, Marvel Comic Invasion is an arcade-style beat-em-up video game where you pick 2 of 15 Marvel characters and you like side-scroll 2D fight your enemies. Yeah, Nostalgia City. Many, many summers of young Brian's life were spent playing Marvel arcade video games, and this looks so much like the games that I grew up with. I genuinely can't wait. I think this looks super cool, and I'll definitely be picking this up. And the other cool thing, too, is, right, you're playing this at home by yourself, and you're like, man, I wish my friends were here. The game supports co-op, right? You can play couch co-op, or you can play online with up to 4 of your friends. Yeah, this game looks super cool. Hopefully it doesn't cost $70. Hopefully it's like a $29 game. If so, 100% picking this up. It will be launching in holiday of 2025. And then the final announcement for the Nintendo Direct kind of came out of left field, but I think it's super cool. Shigeru Miyamoto introduced a brand new Nintendo news service pumping out daily gaming news, which, hold up. Whoa, 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 whoa. What are we doing here, Miyamoto? I thought the deal was that you don't go into my space, I don't go into yours. A daily gaming news show? Excuse me? A daily gaming news? Excuse me. I mean, we are far from a daily gaming news show, but these are my streets, Nintendo man. The new service, Nintendo Today, is a brand new app available right now for iOS and Android devices, and will essentially allow Nintendo to send out daily news updates surrounding video games, movies, hardware, TV shows, directs, and much more. And yesterday, Nintendo was like, welcome to the app. We're going to start it off with the banger, Legend of Zelda, a live-action film will be releasing March 26th of 2027. Like, if this is what we're getting from the app, I feel like a lot of people are going to have this installed. I've got it installed right now, and I'm really looking forward to this. Overall, great Direct. I mean, obviously, there's no Switch 2 news. I think that should be expected. Like, we know we're getting a Nintendo Switch 2 Direct on April 2nd, and I think everybody is just super excited for that. And maybe, like, we're all excited for that this was, like, cool news, but we're all just like, man, yes, we opened one present on Christmas Eve, but man, we can't wait for Christmas. And I feel like that's where we're at right now, because April 2nd can't get here soon enough. And I'm sure Nintendo agrees, because there's been a lot of information that I'm sure Nintendo would like to be in charge of, but the internet has been leaking for them. Like, essentially this week, Best Buy Canada came out and was like, hey, pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2, April 2nd, $399, and then that got taken down real fast. Like, whoops, sorry. Apologies down there to Nintendo, but our Canadian neighbors definitely kind of leaked that one. And then Nintendo, in the Nintendo Today app, showed a photo of the Switch 2 that pretty much just like confirmed the long rumor C button. So it's like we got to see that on there. And while everyone is wanting like release dates and like wanting to figure this out, we also found out this week dev kits from Nintendo potentially haven't even been sent out yet. And then that kind of grows because you hear Insider Gaming's Tom Henderson came out and he's like, hey, during GDC I talked to a lot of developers who are working on Nintendo's platform, and they said that Nintendo is working on like a 3-phase launch cycle when it comes to the Switch 2. And phase 1 will basically be the console launches with all of our first party games. Phase 2 will be like October, November, which basically will mean like third-party studios will have the opportunity to use those dev kits and port their games. And then phase 3 will be the other games that Nintendo has that are internally targeting the holiday season. A lot of excitement in the world of Nintendo. We will obviously be coming here live in the studio on April 2nd to stream and watch along with the Nintendo Direct here with all of you as it develops. And as always, if you want more Nintendo news, or as the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, you want all the details, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Like the video and always share it with your grandma.